But what are your thoughts on James Trafford? 'Cause obviously, like we said, Donnarumma is 26.
Yeah.
Buffon, the last Italian great goalkeeper, went on until his 40s. There's no room for him there. He has to force a transfer, really, doesn't he? Or what do you think will happen next?
I think, obviously, Man City's a big club. He's probably getting a load more ways than he did at Burnley. I think that's it's just he's not going to start for the next 10 years. Because keeps him going for 8. I think probably on loan, I reckon, for a season next season. And then if he's still not playing at Man City, then I reckon he's got to go. He's a great keeper with potential. He can't waste his career sitting on the bench and to become the next Scott Carson. I
was going to say, because he would be, he'll have a massive trophy cabinet, but he never would have played a game.
It's quite a good job sitting on the bench, getting paid load. But I think when you're a footballer, you want to be playing football. You don't want to be...
Especially when you're that young.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially when you're that young. You have to do that. The latest guest in the Block 44 podcast. So I'd probably say one of the other issues with the Premier League, obviously, we still have the 3 p.m. blackout of broadcasting, but just broadcasting in general. It's how much do you have to spend a month to get TNT Sports, Sky Sports, Amazon Prime? It's everywhere, unless you've got a dodgy stick, which no one should have. We don't endorse this. But you do have to spend a lot of money to be able to access football in this country.
I think especially with the 3 p.m. blackouts, obviously, I think they were put in place to get more fans to go to games. But obviously, more fans are going to games. And I think where there's, for example, Bournemouth, we got really small capacity, and if you can't get a match, you can't watch it without doing other methods, which obviously aren't good. But you can't watch them without doing other methods, and it's so expensive to buy Sky Sports, and your team's on there once a month. If you're a small team, if you're a big team, probably each week. But it's so expensive. It's pushing the fans out of the sport, and if you want to go to the games, you've got to fork out an arm and a leg to get a match ticket. But I feel like because it's all it's like Sky, TNT. I think there should be one platform. I saw that a Netflix for the Prem.
I saw that. Yeah.
£25 a month. All the games. I think that's perfect. It's not charging fans too much, and it's not extortionating the fans for It's just way too expensive for fans to watch their teams play once a month. It's really not worth paying, I think.
It is. It doesn't stop the pyramid whatsoever. Obviously, Ligue 1 have done the thing where they've got the subscription now because they didn't get any sponsorship for it. But when you look at it now, especially when you look at the bigger squads, it's built for tourists. If you want to go to Anfield now, the price of an actual ticket, they've priced out local fans, and TV's priced out local fans. Also, you can't even watch it on TV. So where is football now even going? Because fans are being priced out of even attending at the stadium. So where is next? Do you think they do have to get rid of that ban at some point and just have a subscription for the Premier League?
I think surely, obviously, it's been put in France, and I think it's obviously working well. Fans can watch more of the games. And with, in Spain, I think they've moved the Barcelona game to the USA for fans can't fly out there to watch. I think it's a game in around Christmas time, Barcelona versus some other team. They've moved it out to be played in, I think it's Florida or something like that, which I think is crazy. I think it is, as you said, it is more for tourists now. The match tickets, the match tickets.
Got to see. Well, the plan. I wore this today because I was hoping that we'd get a Brighton fan in as well, to be like a South Coast one, excluding Pompey. We're going to the Championship one. But got well, I hope so. I must survive as well, really. but no, I hope so.
Yeah, but I just think in terms of football in general, it's just it's pricing the fans out too much. Match tickets is expensive. You can't even watch your teams play. So, at what point does it get to the point, like you said, where you have to get rid of that 3 p.m. blackouts? If fans who can't get these matches, who can't afford them, can actually watch their team play? Because it's not fair to have it on your phone, just watching the ball across the screen, and on apps apps where it just shows the passing. It's not fair for some fans who can't afford to go to games, can't actually even watch the games.
Yeah.
So I think that 3 p.m. thing definitely it has to go surely at some point.
Yeah. Well, I completely agree, because obviously when you come to a stadium like Bournemouth as well, obviously Wrexham look like they're doing the same thing coming up. But Luton, when they got promoted, it's like there are some teams that have come up with smaller stadiums, which is what you want to see in this country.
Yeah.
But then again, the problem you have is that you can't get to the stadium, so it needs to be more accessible. Yeah, exactly that.
You can't get tickets for the Bournemouth away, and it's impossible from what I've heard.
Yeah, well, I remember as a Saints fan trying last year. It's like I've come once with my girlfriend's dad in the Bournemouth end. But it's tough to get, but obviously it's great in there. The atmosphere is fantastic. But staying on that topic, do you think the Premier League is going to end up being played abroad at some point? Or do you think the fans have enough power in this country to stop that from happening?
I think if there's even a sniff of games being played abroad, I think that'd be not right. But you know how they did with the UEFA
Super League. Yeah.
Fans having projects at Arsenal, the fans in this country are really vocal, and I think if there's even like a whisper of like, oh yeah, we're playing out in Germany or playing out in Florida, for example, then I just don't think the fans will allow it to happen.
Yeah.
I think they'll be like, Twitter will be going crazy, fans will be like, no, this can't happen, for example. I just don't think there's any chance that it happens in England because of how passionate the fans are.
Yeah.
I think that it's surely.
Yeah, I think that the good thing here is that obviously, like we saw with the Super League, the fans do have a big enough say to stop things like that. So it is just making that happening, isn't it?
Definitely.
But all right, let's get into the real parts of football now, because we can moan about football all day long, really, couldn't we? There's so many things to go on about. But let's go on to young talent. So obviously, is there still a way for young talent to develop in this country? Because you see, obviously, well, as a Saints fan, we've seen like Tyler Dibman come up, you had David Brooks come up, and others like that. But now when you look at things, you see Chelsea buying all the youngsters and shipping them off everywhere. So what is development like for young players trying to come through now, and can they do it? Or is it mainly at these smaller clubs like us out there where it can happen?
I think obviously, in terms of players, like for example, for us at Bournemouth, we like to buy in young players like Kirkes, House, and Zabani, who are coming to like, these small teams and like they're playing to get game time, and then they'll move on to the big clubs. So I think it's more of a case where these young players, instead of going up through the academy, obviously there's a lot of good academy players coming through, but I think young players from abroad, I think they're going to be coming to more smaller teams like Bournemouth, like Southampton, for example, or just like these like compared to the big teams, to get more regular game time, to then prove to the big teams that they can play for them. As much as I don't want to be like a feeder club for these big teams, but I think at the moment the way that Bournemouth are, for example, these young players are coming to us so they can like they can evolve themselves and they can become better players to then go and play for the big team. So I think it's going to be more of a case where they're either going on loan to the smaller teams or they're going to come up through the smaller teams to then make a pathway to the larger team instead of coming up through their academy. I think that seems to be the more proven option as in the last few years.
Yeah.
I reckon that sort of.
Yeah, because I think also as Bournemouth have to, like, obviously they've got a new training ground, they're looking to expand the stadium. Do you think there's a case to be made that the thing that smaller clubs struggle with, obviously Bournemouth, Southampton, Brighton, almost every small club struggles with it, is that the big clubs come in, take all the players, it's still for good money, but obviously because the market's so inflated, recruitment is so tough to actually get out there and start to compete. But do you think getting all of this infrastructure in place, obviously Bournemouth have some incredible owners that have done so much to increase revenue streams and do everything. Is there a chance to think that, okay, smaller clubs can come through, obviously they do sell players, but they can recruit and actually start fighting for top six places consistently?
I think, obviously Bournemouth, we did well last season, but I think it's going to be a real testament to our character and our owners if we can keep this on and progress it. But teams like the team we're playing today, like Brighton, I think they've proven that they can sell players. They sold key players like, I can't think, Caicedo to Chelsea, for example, McAllister,
João Pedro, they just
lost
him.
Chelsea, they've sold these players, but their recruitment is so good that they can push on. But I think the issue with that is one lapse of judgment and you bring in a player for a big fee that then isn't as good. I think it can like change the whole thing. But I think teams like Brighton and Bournemouth, we have enough in place to if that happens, then we can that we have players to replace them. But I think it is possible, but it's hard to say no when the big teams come calling. And I think as a fan, watching these players like play really well with your team and then go on to other clubs, it's a bit heartbreaking because you kind of know as much wages as you can offer them, they're always going to go to the team to get Champions League football to fight for the title.
It's the trophies, isn't it?
And you can't blame them, honestly. You can't blame them. But I just think it is hard. But I think it can be done. I just think that like players want to go to the big clubs, and that's fair enough. But it's hard. It's just hard to keep hold of them.
Yeah. And then, so obviously, with that whole situation, what are your thoughts on Bournemouth this season? Obviously, you do have the pool with the training ground and the new stadium's being built, which is fantastic. I can't wait for that personally. But obviously, the most important part for Bournemouth this year was replacing the defensive line because you lost your goalkeeper, 2 centre-backs, your left back, you lost everyone. So there was enough money that went into it. Has it been replaced well enough? And also, do you think that, how much does that affect a team like Bournemouth in terms of progression? Because obviously you bring in new players, they didn't have to gel, get used to each other, start off all over again, and then get back up to where you were.
Yeah, I think obviously we've lost Kirk as House and Devine. We got rid of Kepa, but I think other than that, we managed to keep our entire midfield. We tied Anton Semenyo to a new deal. We kept Cliver. We've kept likes of Brooks and Tavernier, who have all signed brand new deals with the club, and I think that shows where we are. That in terms of players that could have got, like for example, Brooks had an offer for Palace to for 8 mil, which is crazy by the way. But he got a new contract. And I think that shows that the players think there is something still to fight here for. And I feel like but I think we've replaced our players. So obviously we have lost a lot of key players, but I thought the amount of profit that we made on those players is incredible. And I think the players we brought in true fair, Gerges, he looks to be an incredible player. Be really, really impressed with him. I think Petrovic could be an upgrade on Kepa.
Yeah.
He's younger, and I think the way that he commands his box is a lot better than Kepa did. And I think the other players we were brought in, like, yes, we lost House and Anzabani, but we already had Marcos Senesi, who I think is a great centre-back. And we brought in the French centre-back as well, who I think is brilliant as well. I think we have bought in these players for a lot cheaper than we sold our main team for. And I think, even though obviously you said it takes time for players to like adjust to the system, I think they've already, like you can see against Tottenham, they've already gelled together really well. And it's going to take time, obviously, but I think that with Andoni in charge, I think he just brings the best out in players, and I think he's such a great manager, and I think he's going to go next season. As much as I want to say.
I mean, I'm surprised that. I mean, it's brilliant, but I'm surprised that he wasn't in for that Tottenham job.
I know.
Because like, he's been awesome for you guys, hasn't he? He's been. He reminds me of Ronald Koeman when we had him at Southampton. He took us in Europe, like, we loved him, and then got all of that, and then he left. But I mean, for Iraola to keep signing new contracts and stay would be a real statement.
I think obviously a lot of clubs are going to be asking me. He's a top manager. He's still quite young.
Yeah.
He's been at 2 clubs, Bournemouth and the team within Spain. And I think obviously the way that he plays football, the way that he's proven he can evolve these young players, I think obviously a lot of teams are going to be after him. But I think going to Tottenham in that exact moment, I think it would have been a risky move for him, because obviously Thomas Frank's a great manager, but Tottenham made some good signings. But I think in the moment they were second hand with, they were a bit unstable, not properly, but I think in terms of as a manager, I think he chose to stay at Bournemouth because obviously he believes in the project. Or I'm hoping so anyway. And I think he's come out and said that he doesn't like to leave on a contract that he doesn't like to walk out of a club without I don't know the word is, without watching out his contract, for example.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I think obviously it's a big, if we can get him tied down to a new contract, it'd be brilliant news. But it's going to be hard. He's a great coach, and it's going to be really hard.
Yeah, I mean, it will be tough, but Bournemouth can keep just building what they got. Obviously, the owners are investing in everything that they need to. There's no reason why he can't say, because like you said, he's young.
Yeah.
I think you just keep building Bournemouth up, then, because like, if Ruben Amorim gets sacked, obviously United's a cracking job, but you're not really going to want to take that.
No,
it's
in the current situation,
suicide. Yeah.
For any coach to go there, I think obviously the way the fans turn on a manager like that, and I think the owners and United they're probably one of the biggest clubs in England, let alone the entire world. But I think the way they are for a manager to go to United right now, I think it's really risky, because it's a make or break for their career. Like Eric Ten Hag was a good coach at Ajax, went to United, awful, and now he's just been sacked from his team out in Germany after 3 games.
I was going to say, that was quick, wasn't it? Three games in, and he was gone. Yeah.
But I think in terms of a manager, if Iraola went to United, it would be a big job. But I think they need to stabilise. It isn't just the coach that's the issue at United. I think the problems run a lot. They run a lot more into the club.
Yeah.
The owners, I think the players are kind of the issue as well. So I think if he was to United, I'd prefer United to get their infrastructure sorted out.
Yeah, definitely.
So because I think he's a great manager, and I'd hate to see him go to waste somewhere.
Style of football. There was a problem that was supposed to go along with this. They're really well. Oh, that was it. So obviously, styles of football changed quite a lot.
Yeah.
You got your classic British 4-4-2. It doesn't really exist anymore. So what is the British style, or do you think that there isn't really a British style anymore? So each club in the Premier League, that might be why Bournemouth have done so well.
Yeah.
Because they have changed their styles completely different to everyone else.
Yeah, I think obviously England, if you look back at England's style, it was like Hoover up front, 4-4-2, Sean Dyche, sort of Brexit ball. But I think now with Pep Guardiola coming into England, I think he's completely changed how football is played.
Yeah.
I think each team has their own style of play. You got teams like Bournemouth that sit behind the ball. Bournemouth, a very high foot pressing, counter aggressive team. I think each team has their own style of play. I think that's why it makes the Premier League so exciting.
Yeah.
But out in Spain, you're kind of aware each team's going to be very great on the ball, and teams out in Italy are going to be really good defensively. But I think England, each team has their own strength, and I think that's what makes the Premier League so exciting to watch.
Yeah.
So,
No, I completely agree. Right. What have we got next? Oh, here we go. So I've been doing a mini series on TikTok recently, which has been what is the greatest Premier League team of all time, including managers. The biggest debate has actually been the right wing. People have put Hazard on the right wing. I thought he'd put on the left.
Yeah, he puts on the left.
Yeah. But people seem to be really funny about this. So I wanted to get your opinion. So my front three I had was Salah, Shearer up top, and Omri on the left. Obviously, I know Omri didn't play on the left, but I put him on the left, so I didn't really want to take Shearer out as the all-time Premier League top goal scorer. I got a lot of stick for it, because people were saying that Ronaldo should be on, and so should Hazard, and it's like, not even a debate. And I was thinking, well, Salah is statistically the most successful right winger in Premier League history. And even if I took Omri off the left, for me it's got to be Giggs.
Ryan Giggs, you reckon?
Yeah, well, he's got most assists of all time, most Premier League trophies of all time. It's hard, obviously, when you watch people like Hazard, it's the magic is there.
Yeah,
obviously, the way he carries the ball. It's like watching the Messi of the Premier League.
100%.
But when it comes to getting goals and assists, that's got to play a part.
It's got to be Mo Salah. Like, even when he has a bad game, he's always getting a goal, and he always I think that's what makes him so good. That people say he's a one-season wonder. Yet he's been doing it for what, a good 10 years.
He's so
every season putting up these goals, putting up these assists. I think I'd agree with you saying that Mo Salah does start that right wing. I'd have to agree with you there.
And when you say Salah or Hazard, all-time Premier League, so they're both in their primes in the Premier League, who would you take? Salah or Hazard?
Such a hard one. It's because Eden Hazard, like, when he was on the ball, like, you couldn't take it off the goals he scored.
Yeah, the eye just glued to it, weren't they?
I think it's such a hard choice. I think in terms of their entire career, Mo Salah, but I think if I had to pick one player in their absolute prime, it's got to be Eden Hazard. I think if I had to choose a player for like the Premier League all-time round, it'd be Mo Salah because of his consistency. But I think Eden Hazard in his prime was arguably one of the best players in the entire world. I think for me, that's why in their prime would be Eden Hazard over like the entire of their career. It's going to be Mo Salah.
And something that's come up quite a lot recently as well is actually the greatest manager in the Premier League of all time. So obviously we've got Sir Alex, Jose, Pep, Arsene Wenger.
Could argue Klopp potentially.
Klopp as well? Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't say he's the best, but I say he's probably.
But he's certainly up there for the top. But there are quite a few options. For me, I could never take it away from Fergie.
No.
But I don't know if you had a different option for your all-time Premier League 11. Is it Fergie or is it someone else that's leading that team?
No, I'd probably agree Fergie because Man United were the best team in England for a long period of time. What he did there, you can't argue. Like he is the greatest manager in the Premier League of all time. Like, Pep's good. He's an amazing manager. But I think what Fergie did at Man United, you can't.
Fergie didn't have much money.
No.
And he didn't do it with the best players in the world either, did he?
And they were the best team in England for a long, long time.
Yeah, they were.
So I think it would be quite rude to take it away from Alex Ferguson in terms of that thing.
And then we'll do one more on this topic. So, greatest Premier League captain of all time. For me, I've stuck with Man United and gone Roy Keane.
Okay.
But obviously, there are so many to choose from, really, aren't there?
Yeah, I think Roy Keane in terms of a leader, obviously he's aggressive, he stands up for the team. I think that is what you want in a captain, like the vocal point of the team. Obviously, he's a very loud player. He commanded the team. He was loud on the pitch. He was aggressive. I think that is what you want in a captain, to be in charge of the players, take control of the game. But I think, I'd probably agree with Roy Keane. But I think there's probably a few other names you could put in there. I think was Steven Gerrard captain.
He was captain. He could be in there. John
Terry as well,
yeah.
I think it's probably between Keane and Steven, I reckon. But I'd probably say Roy Keane as well, just for the fact how he commanded the pitch and just how much of a vocal point he was for the United team, how aggressive. I think when you think of a captain, you want someone to be in charge. And I think Roy Keane was that guy. 100%.
Yeah, well, I mean, with that United team, they would have all died for each other, wouldn't they? That was something else.
It was it was more than just a job for them. It was their life.
Oh, yeah.
They bled United. They would do anything for that team. I think that's what's not in the game right now. It's obviously there's more passion in the game, but I think back in that era, players were it was their club. They would fight for that club. They would die for that club, sort of thing. So I think,
No, I completely agree. And obviously, this week we're quite lucky.
Yeah.
We have 2 South Coast derbies, don't we?
Probably a fake one and maybe a real one this week.
We've got South Coast friendly, and we've got the South Coast derby tomorrow. But let's go into derbies. So obviously, it's hard to tease up ball because there isn't really a full-on plot. There's a local rivalry between Southampton and
we haven't got any rivalry,
but it's not a proper.
No, I think there's a bit. There's not any bad blood there, but I think obviously because it's 2 close teams,
location-wise, they're just close, aren't they?
But obviously with you having Portsmouth and obviously the Southampton fans help keep Bournemouth alive, putting paying some money to help us keep alive. So I don't think there's a rivalry there. I don't get I don't think it's a derby when we play Southampton. But in terms of how close we are, that's the only reason there might be a bit of a rivalry. But I still wouldn't say there's any rivalry there.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And then going on to tomorrow, we do have the South Coast Derby,
the proper one.
which you could probably say is one of the most fierce ones, probably in England, really, couldn't you?
100%.
Did you know much about it? Have you got any thoughts on that? Obviously, as a Saint fan, I've got loads. I can go all day about this. But like, from an outsider's perspective, have you got much of what you've seen about it?
Well, I don't know too much about it, if I'm being completely honest, but I know obviously it probably is the most fierce rivalry in England. Obviously, you've not really played that. You've not really played each other that much, apart from was it a cup game of like 5-6 years ago?
Yeah, so this is the first time in the league in 13 years.
Is it?
And then we did it in the cup. I think it was in the 2020.
I think it was like 3-0,
we had Danny Ings. Yeah, 4-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, we beat 4-0 at home.
Smashed them.
But that was when we had back at Danny Ings, Nathan Redmond, and oh my god, all of that.
I think it was quite good seeing that.
Yeah, it was a while back.
Yeah.
But I haven't played in the league for 13 years.
Yeah, but I think in terms of as rivalry go, it is one of the most intense. I've seen the way I might be wrong, but I've seen like the police are trying to separate the fans and Portsmouth fans tomorrow to make sure they're not walking through the same area.
Yeah, well, so it's completely. I'm keen to get your thoughts on this actually as well. So what they've done is every single away fan has to, like, if you're attending the game, the only way you can watch the game is you have to get the bus from Fratton Park.
Okay.
And the coaches park right outside the turnstile, so there is zero fan interaction.
Really?
And then they come in there. The train station is closed. You cannot go into any Southampton train station because there are scheduled maintenance, apparently. But as soon as you get out of Southampton Portsmouth, it's all fine.
Yeah.
So you've got that, and then obviously afterwards they'll keep the bubble there, and then they'll get the fans straight onto the coach and off again tomorrow. I mean, I'm happy about the violence not being there, being at the stadium, but then again, I feel like being there and having that interaction of having fans in the bubble screaming and shouting at each other, it does add to the whole derby factor.
Yeah, I think obviously violence, like, I don't condone anyone fighting for the game. I'm sure you don't either, but I think like as much as you don't want violence, like it kind of takes away the fact from the rivalry that the fans, the only time they see each other is inside the stadium, and if they can't even like, I think if they were walking separately, like police in between, they can still shout at each other. That's a much better solution. But I think it kind of takes away from the fact that like the fans can't like even have any bit of like rivalry there, and I get it's a safety factor, which I think is perfectly understandable. But
you can understand why they do it.
Yeah,
absolutely. But have you been to St Mary's?
Yes.
So you know where the away end used to be?
Yes.
Where it used to be.
Yeah.
So it's now changed.
Oh, it's changed.
So now that whole section is now safe standing.
Okay.
So where all the noisy Southampton lot, where everyone's on their feet chanting the whole game, the away fans are now on the complete other side.
Oh.
So you don't even really get that part
No.
of it. So where the ultras are, if you don't really call them ultras in England, but where like the big fans are on their feet and safe standing chanting all game, are on the complete opposite side of the stadium to the Pompey fans as well. So it's just,
I think
it's killed it off. Just that little bit, hasn't it?
Especially 13 years you waited for like a proper league game.
Yeah,
the fact
exactly.
that you're not even going to see them. Like, you can't even have a bit of banter, or you can't even like shout your shit, for example. And they probably won't hear you from outside the stadium. Like, it's just a bit like it's taken away from the fact that you've been waiting so long for it. And I get it's to stop violence, but I think that's just taken away from the fact that like you've waited 13 years for it, and there's not even like you can't even go through the town and just like have a bit of like banter or like a bit of a rivalry. Like I think that's just taken away from it completely. It's not 13 years, like I said before, like it's just a long time to wait, and it's just like you can't even have like a bit of interaction with a Portsmouth fan that's not from the other side of the ground.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably quite a frustrating thing.
Got a friend back here.
Can I imagine that's quite frustrating for you as a Southampton fan? You waited that long, you can't even like shout.
Yeah, obviously, you wish there was a bit more.
Yeah.
But then again, from a safety perspective, I'm happy I can walk back to my car.
You can walk safely there.
Like, just safely without having
100%,
anything happen.
100%.
But yeah, no, it definitely does take away from the rivalry as well. And then obviously, we do, as football, we do have to touch on this topic, which is VAR. Obviously, Bournemouth have been, well, apart from the opening game against Liverpool, Bournemouth have been really, really unlucky with this in particular. And it's just, is it time for it to go? Because it's clearly not ready to be around yet. There's been a lot of controversy within the first 3 weeks alone.
Already. I think, as people have said, it's not VAR itself, it's the people that are in charge of it. I think VAR itself, it's a great idea, it helps the ref. But, like, for example, that Josh King's goal against Chelsea, I thought that was a joke. Like, he just put his foot down, like, he couldn't have done anything. And then it took like 5 minutes to sort out. And I think it needs to be taken out of the game for a bit and then changed a bit so it's able to. Because if you're in the ground, for example, and you're like you scored, cool, then you have to wait 10 minutes to see if there's a goal being allowed.
Yeah, it takes really excitement, doesn't it?
I think in itself it's a great idea to help the fans get the correct and the refs to make the correct call, but I think the people that are in charge of it, they're just incompetent in terms of actually using it.
Yeah, but they're incompetent on and off the pitch, aren't they? Because like VAR on the pitch, but so when you go to rugby, cricket, it works perfectly.
Yeah.
It's a good tool to have.
It's just football.
But it's just if PGMOL coming out every single weekend
Saying
apologising because they get it wrong,
and you can't do anything about it. Like,
yeah.
They apologise, but you cost them 3 points.
Yeah, exactly.
Get relegated, and that brand new thing where the ref has to announce it. I hate that.
It's like they announce it, but they don't even give it any context around it either. So it's like you might as well just let the screen do it because if you're not going to give the context around it, what's the point?
It was like the Chelsea when he gave the penalty, instead of just doing like that, he went like that, and he went after careful review, I decided to like the foul. And they went like that. Like it just took away from the fact that like you went to see the point of the spot, and you just stand over the mic going like blah 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 blah. I think it just kind of like takes away from the fact that like it's a penalty. You just got to stand there and just hear some bloke waffle.
Yeah, but I feel like that part's very Americanised.
Yeah, it is.
That
100%.
It's very that way.
100%.
But yeah, it's interesting to see how it's going to go because there's been a lot of controversial things. It's like when you look at Eze's free kick when he was still at Palace before he moved. That goal, in my mind, should have stand because I think it was Arsenal last year that had the exact same situation. And it's the consistency that also has to be a part of it. It's like the rules are rules, but
for some teams it's not.
Got to stick to it, haven't you?
I think like they need to the specifications where if a goal's a goal. I think the specifications where it's a goal, mate. It's not clear. Like handball rule, I haven't got a clue what it is. Like last season, I think we played Newcastle at home and Watara scored a last minute goal. And it came off here, which to me isn't a handball. And if you have a look at the book, it says I think it's here, but it hit off his shoulder, and they ruled out for a handball. Whereas I've seen stuff like a little further down your arm that be given as a goal. So I think it's very unclear. I think I couldn't tell you what the handball rule is at all.
Which is odd, isn't it? Because like, if your arm's against your body, what else are you supposed to do?
Like,
it's like you can't be anywhere else.
I think in terms of people that sing it, like when you're falling, for example, if you're falling, you put your hand under to catch yourself. But if you then touch the ball, I think sometimes it's a pen, sometimes it's not. Like I think you can't really determine from an outside point of view if it's natural or not, because the only person knows if it's natural is the player. So you get a few calls.
I wasn't expecting it. It's really bad to be honest. But yeah, no, I completely get what you. Did you see Tarkowski's one, the Everton one, like first time he's seen it against Leeds? Did you see that?
Yeah, well, he fell in it.
Yeah, he was like he put his arms behind his back, goes in, falls towards it. What do you think of that? For me, it wasn't a penalty.
No, it can't
There's
be.
nothing else you can do with your arm.
Like I don't get. They want you to like just put your hands down your shorts or something.
Yeah.
Like, you can't cut your arm off. You can't cut your hand off. Like
exactly that.
Your arm's going to be somewhere, and what's natural and what's natural. I think it's so unclear.
Yeah.
I think I don't think even the refs or the people in charge have any idea what a handball is.
No.
I think it's so up to your own interpretation that's how bad it is. There should be like one set rule, but it's just not consistent, as you said earlier. Not at all.
I just put a video out of that one, and it was like the comments were 50-50. So it was not handball, and then the ones that were saying it is a handball because he's moving towards the ball. As a defender, your job is that you're paid to stop the ball from getting
so
to
you're
the
going to
goal.
block
So that's
the ball,
what you want to do, isn't it?
Anyhow you want to. Like, if the ball's going towards the goal, like, no, who's move out the way of it? No, you're going to go towards the ball to block the ball, and he did block the ball technically, but. Yeah, I think it's quite a harsh one, I thought. Yeah, definitely a bit harsh.
It is, but again, it's finding the consistency
100%.
and figuring out what the rules actually are in the world of football.
I think that the rules they change for like the big teams and the smaller teams.
Yeah.
Like, as much as people
there's
say
definitely some bias. 100%.
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah, because it's like if you look at the statistics, I think Bournemouth actually the most hard done by VAR.
Yeah, I think they've been quite badly.
And it's like
and like. It could be like they're doing it on purpose, or even like a bit of subconscious bias, where like they're a big team, so they might get a bit more lenience, like in the back of their mind maybe. I don't know, but I think there's definitely a bit more bias towards certain teams in the Prem than other teams. And I think, it's just so inconsistent. I think what one call can be gave one week isn't given the next week. It was like that Eze free kick. I saw a free kick like you said by Arsenal being scored. It's the exact same thing, but the Eze all like it was Palace, but.
It is funny how it works. But then if we take that to, you take even to the contract situation now, we're moving away from VAR.
Yeah, of course.
They've got the sort of like weekend headline sections. Obviously, we've got over Donnarumma, who's going to be starting. James Trafford is out of the he's going to be on the bench. He's essentially out of the Man City fold. But we've got Isak, who's potentially making his Liverpool debut this weekend, which will be very interesting. Obviously, an interesting situation. He forced his way out.
Oh, no, yeah.
But he could be making his debut. What are your thoughts on the situation? Do you think he could start today, get scoring against Burnley, maybe?
I saw some. Obviously, he's not played in a few weeks, I think. So obviously, he came off the bench for Sweden, I'm pretty sure. So I don't think he's going to start straight away because I think obviously going to a big club, if he got thrust in like the game straight away, I think there's a lot of pressure on him. Obviously, after what's gone down at Newcastle, which is a bit iffy, I think there's going to be a lot of eyes on him, and I don't think Einstein's going to want to put him under that pressure like straight away.
Yeah.
As much as it's a big move and he's a professional, he needs to handle the pressure. I think he needs a bit more time to like, adjust before he's starting for them. So I think he'll be on the bench today. I reckon he'll play like half an hour. I think with how good TK's been already,
He's been phenomenal.
it'd be quite harsh to take him off like, straight away. But obviously Isak is the better striker.
Yeah.
But I think Isak will play like half an hour just to get him some game time. In a few weeks he'll probably start, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, I put Isak in my FPL team.
This
It's
is
probably a
your-
bit premature, but I put him in. I'm hoping he's going to get goals against Burnley.
Yeah, I reckon he will,
But
surely.
I think from Ekatike's perspective, obviously it's a shame that Isak's come in.
Yeah.
But how he can also play on the left. So I
He can,
think
yeah.
there's a chance that he may actually take Gakpo's place and back Gakpo will be on the bench. And
I think in that squad they've got a lot of quality players that like.
it's good to have the depth.
Yeah, I
Tight
think-
schedule.
And with the right back position as well, they've got Bradley Frimpong, and they've also played.
Yes, Szoboszlai's been
Yeah,
there,
he
hasn't
played as well,
He's
then-
been really good there.
He can't then play midfield, and you're taking out Alexis McAllister, you're taking
Yes.
out Ryan Gravenberch, you're
Yeah.
taking out Curtis Jones. So I think they're going to have to upset some players, but I think they've got a big schedule, so I think the players will be kept happy. They've got Champions League, Cup games, Premier, so I think they can rotate it well. But
It's exactly that, because you need that depth to go into the
Yeah.
Champions League, the FA Cup, the Carabao, and the Premier League. So
100%.
you need that, because for them, you want to win every single
Oh,
thing
yeah,
that you're in, don't you? So by having top strikers across each, they're still probably each going to get at least 20 games,
surely.
25 games even a season, depending on how far they get.
I'd
So
hate
it's
to be
not really a big
in
problem.
Arne's position though, to actually like choose who starts. Like,
Yeah.
it'd be such a headache, honestly.
Yeah, it definitely would be. And then we've also got, what's on this? Let's stay on this. So we've got the contract situation.
Yeah.
Isak forced himself out, got his move. Gahey didn't, and didn't get his move. What do you think that's going to say now for the players in the future? Do you think we're going to see a lot more of that? So obviously Visser as well,
Yeah,
he went to Newcastle,
yeah.
kicked up a fuss, got his move in the end.
I think they're under contract at their club. They might be unhappy, but technically they're still that player, and they're under contract. I think they have to honour that contract unless they're like genuinely like not being allowed for the next 3 years. I think with Mark Gay, obviously he's probably going to join them in the next transfer window. But I think like them changing their profile pictures to like remove their pictures, I think it is a little bit childish in terms of like trying to force your way out of a club that's gave you this platform. And yes, other clubs probably would have done that as well. But with how well like Isak did at Newcastle, how good Oyster did at Brentford, I think trying to force your way, disrespect the club in that way, I think it's a bit childish in the way like you change your profile picture to try and force your way out of a club. It's like it's like they're trying to get
That's
out
just
of a
really petty
relationship.
level.
Yeah. Especially they're still technically under contract there. So I think that'd be like if I worked at like Asda and I got an offer from like Sainsbury's, I'm trying to like force my way to work at Sainsbury's, but like I just feel like them trying to force their move out of the club, it's a little bit childish. I can understand it, they want to get a big club move.
If you want to leave, put a release clause in your contract.
Yeah, there's ways to go about it.
Yeah.
And I think like the way Mark Gay's gone about it is good, and the way like Howson went out at Bournemouth.
Yes. Yeah.
He had a release clause. He played the entire season. I think Real Madrid signed him like before the final 3 games, but he said he wanted to stay at Bournemouth and play the final 3 games. But I think
really good on
for a
him.
player of his age to have that maturity compared to
Yeah.
like Isak and Wissa, I think that's
He's going to go very far.
100%.
Yeah. He's
But
going to go right to the top.
Yeah, I think the players trying to force their way out of the club is a little bit childish. I think.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. See, there are so many options if, like a release clause, like, there are so many different things you can do, isn't there?
100%.
But it does all take it away. And obviously, well, we've covered the Premier League going abroad, but what we haven't really covered in full is Big Ange going to Nottingham Forest. What do you think? Because obviously that's a complete style of football
Yeah,
change.
100%.
They have been doing very well. Can it suit them? Because have they got the players to even... Also, it's very attacking.
It is. I think the way that the old boss set up, he was very defensive from what I heard. I don't know too much about Forest, I'm not going to pretend that I do, but I think from what I've heard, he was more of a defensive manager.
Yeah.
Whereas Andy's a very, like, who knows what his style is.
Yeah.
Very attacking, very free-flowing, very random team, I think. And I think the fact that the transfer window's been shut, I think it's going to be quite a hard few months until January, because he might not have the players that he particularly wants.
Yeah, well, it's not there's no own players, no
Yeah.
pre-season, there's no, it's straight in the deep end, isn't it?
It's going to be hard, but I think he is a good coach. Obviously, he always wins things, apparently.
Yeah.
We can see
Second
that's the case
season.
with Forest.
Yeah.
Let's see that's the case with Forest. But I think it's a complete style shift. It's going to be. I think they'll be okay until January, but I think January is where they'll really like kickstart when he gets the players that he really wants for his team.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. That's fair to go for as well. And we've done those. I've looked at the time. So what we'll do a last few questions.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no worries.
Predictions. So we've gone over Bournemouth, how they've recruited. Obviously, the recruitment's been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Ownership's really good. They're investing in all the right places. Where do you think Bournemouth will finish this year? But most importantly, where do you think Bournemouth going to finish in 5 years' time after
5
that?
years time first. No. What was that? I reckon 5 years time. I'm hoping. I think these next few years with Bournemouth are establishing ourselves as a high mid-table team, like not like a relegation team, like a.
Yeah, I think you're way too far away from that.
As much as I don't want to do what Palace did, come in 12th every season, but they've won an FA Cup. So
Yeah.
is it that bad? I don't know. I take it over heartbeat, but I think it's about establishing ourselves as a Premier League team once again, like trying to fight for 10th, maybe pushing for that European space each season. But I think 5 years time, I reckon we'll be 8th. I reckon we'll be like around where we are now. I think it's going to take some time to try and, if we want to push on to become a big club, that's going to take like a good 30 years, if I'm being honest. But
yeah, it's not a quick thing,
no,
is it?
it's not a
Especially
quick
with the
process
PSR
at
rules and
all.
everything
No,
now,
no.
yeah.
But I say 5 years time, 8th, and this season I reckon we'll come 10th.
Yeah. I think that's fair enough. I reckon in 5 years' time, I think Bournemouth can definitely be pushing for European. If they stay on the same trajectory, pushing for European football, definitely. And there's no reason why not. But let's go top 4 this season. Who do you think is going to win the league and who do you think is getting the Champions League spots?
First, I think it's got to be the champions from last season.
Yeah, Liverpool looking like they're going to
100%.
win it.
That seems really, really good. I'd say Man City, but they haven't really started off that well this season.
No.
So I reckon they'll come first. Liverpool. Second, I'm going to say Chelsea. I've been impressed by Chelsea. I think Chelsea are really, really good. I think they've got they've got so many players, some great talent in that team. I think they'll come second. Third, I'm going to say, I'll say Arsenal in third. I think they've got Victor Gyökeres, they've got Eze, they've got some good players in their team. I'm going to put Man City in fourth again. As much as they've recruited well, I think it's going to be another transition period. Obviously, they've got rid of a lot of key players like Kevin De Bruyne leaving. It's going to take some time. So, but I think second, third, and fourth will be very, very close.
Yeah, I agree.
I think first is nailed on in my opinion. Oh, the cherries. I think first is nailed on, but I think second, third, and fourth, it could go anywhere for me, to be honest. But I think that's probably what I'd go for.
Oh, that makes sense. And then, what are your thoughts on Arsenal within that situation? Obviously, do you think Arteta can take them all the way to win a trophy of the Premier League or the Champions League sort of calibre?
I think he's done well at Arsenal. He's turned them into title contenders. Not I wouldn't say that he's turned them into title winning side, but he's turned a very poor Arsenal team into a title contending side, which is really, really good. But I think if they don't win anything major this season, I think he has to go. I think Arsenal have a good team.
There has to be a conversation about that, doesn't there? Because obviously the thing with Arsenal is that they don't want to win; they just don't want to lose.
Yeah.
And it's that point. They're very defensive. They like to get their draws in, but they need to start winning if they actually want to be up there.
I think they want a coach in who's going to cut. As much as I think is a good coach. I think the coach with experience. He's going to come in and say, right, we're going to win things. Like here, we're not going to take coming second or third.
Yeah.
I'm here to win something. Like to set up to win games, to bat a team, which Arsenal can do. But I think to go to that next.
They usually set up like that, don't they?
Yeah.
Actually play like they mean to. It's like when you watch them against United.
Yeah.
They scored that goal and it's like part of the bus.
It's from a corner.
Top team, but keep going and going and going.
Like teams like Man City, teams like Arne Slot's team, they will just keep pushing for more goals. They smell blood, score a few goals. But I think Arsenal, the way it's set up, they want to win games. They don't want to lose games.
Yeah.
No, they don't want to lose games.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like want that they're comfortable with a 1-0 corner win, which I think yes, it's 3 points, which is fair enough. But I think to be a champion, you have to be. You have to be more ruthless. You have to take the chances. You have to kill off teams like properly.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
And then let's go to the other end of the table.
Okay.
Who are your three to go down? So for me, I pegged Sunderland to stay up.
Yeah.
So I think they've recruited so well. I do think they'll do well. But who do you think is going down this season?
I'm gonna say, I'm not sure if you'll agree, but I think surely Burnley, right?
I think Burnley.
I don't think they're a bad team, but I think compared to every other team, I don't think they're as good. They haven't got the quality. I don't.
I agree. Yeah, I don't think we won't see another Southampton in the Premier League for a while. we won't see a season like that for a lot. Hopefully. I don't like talking about it. I don't know why we'll pull up really. But yeah, no, carry on. Yeah, I think Burnley rock bottom. I can agree with that. Yeah.
I think. I don't mind Leeds, but I think they once again aren't as strong as other Premier League teams.
Yeah.
Like you look at teams like Wolves and Brentford, they're also tipped to go down. Leeds aren't that strong compared to them, so I'd probably say Burnley and Leeds. Then I think the third one is so up for grabs. You could say Sunderland, but they haven't got the Premier League experience. But as you said, they've recruited really, really well. Then you got Brentford, don't look as good as they did last season. They lost Thomas Frank, Christian Norgard, Wissa, and Wemo.
yeah. You forget how much
I
they've
know.
don't they?
You think about Wolves as well.
Yeah, I think they'll struggle. Because Strand Larson has been there long, and he's already looking like people are banging the door for him already, aren't they?
Yeah, I'd probably say Leeds, Burnley, and Brentford. I reckon. I'm going to say Brentford, but I think it could be Sunderland or Wolves there.
Yeah, but I think they'll be around it. I hope Sunderland I hope a team stays up, because if there's a hat trick of teams that go up that come straight back down, it says a lot about the league.
Yeah.
Because it's just you want to see. Obviously, some will always go straight back down.
Yeah, 100%.
But you want to see at least one, if not two, stay up and
try and prove to
make a
other
name
teams
for
in the
themselves.
Championship that they can stay up.
Yeah, otherwise it's just a yo-yo, isn't it? So you'll see Southampton go up and down with Ipswich and Leicester and all the others. It'll just be because obviously Burnley did it last time.
Yeah.
So something's got to change, hasn't it? But we'll see. Only time will tell.